Alright, you know where we are today? We're in the Indian forest. Do you remember what the Indian forest is? The Indian forest is where we dug 3 Indian pennies earlier in the year. I think it was back in September. We come in and we got Indian pennies, and one of my subs called it the Indian forest, so I'm going to call it the Indian forest. We got the x-terra 705, big orange coil, and we've dug our first hole, one find. What do you find in the Indian forest? Of course you find Indian pennies. 1902 I believe that says. That's awesome. Alright, I'm excited. I got something cool. Very cool. I was getting a nice little 40-42 right in here. And I dug it out underneath this this fallen down tree here. And look what we got here. Does anybody know what that is? Because I know exactly what that is. You know what that is? That's a heel plate to an old musket, or something to that effect. And reason why I am pretty sure, because down the bottom of this hill here, right down there, I found the trigger guard of a similar. So this is 2 pieces of the same gun, I'm thinking. I never did really identify a year, other than it was probably 1800s. Maybe late 1700s. This is another piece to it, and hopefully I'll be able to ID what it goes to. I don't see any markings on it at all, but that is an awesome relic. That has got me excited right there. Indian penny. This is 2 holes. I dug 2 holes. Look what I got. I was hoping it was going to be a big shiny silver quarter, but I'll take this any day of the week. Awesome. Alright now I've dug 3 holes. My luck's going to run out. You know, you only dig so many holes in a row before you come across a piece of trash. But looky what we got here. We got another piece of that musket. And it's not that far from that piece I just dug. I can't quite recall exactly where this goes. None of this stuff seems to have any markings on it. Maybe it will when I clean it up. Be nice to have some markings to ID it. Alright, I got a confession to make. I dig a hole and get a piece of trash. That being said, my very next hole is right here. Got a little signal in there, and my guess is that's an Indian. Let's pull it out. We'll see. I haven't even looked. That would be an awful good guess, wouldn't it? It's got to be an Indian, huh? Yeah. Indian forest. Awesome. Alright, we looked at it a little closer. It's not an Indian. It's a weedy. I think that says 1910, nice and plain and clear. That's an awesome looking 1910 weedy. Usually you get one that old and it's crappy up here in Maine. Awesome. Not an Indian, but we'll take it. Alright, that wheat was nice and it was beautiful, but we're in the Indian forest. We need to be digging Indians, right? So we got another Indian here. I think it's 1905, 1906, something like that. What a beauty. Glad to have it. There's got to be some silver kicking around here somewhere. One thing I remember about an old site like this is these trees weren't here back in the day. This yellow birch and this cedar tree weren't here, so I ran the coil in between there and I come up with something strange. I don't think it's part of that gun, but you never know. Maybe one of you guys can ID it. Looks like it's twisted. I don't know if it was like that when it went in the ground. Maybe it is part of that gun. I don't know. Looks like it's sharp on this end. Alright, right by this tree. I mean, right up against it. I got a little signal. This with a big coil, you don't get that close like you want to. And right down there, pretty good. Here we go. Another Indian. 3 on the day. This one's going to be in the 1800s, I believe. I don't have the exact year on it. It won't focus. Yeah, it focuses out here a little bit. Anyway, glad to have it. We'll clean her up at home. Alright, darkness is falling upon me. I got another penny. You know, a big round green penny. I think it's a lad set. Awesome. Thought I was done digging those for the year. Now I pull out a silver to go with it, and Indians and silvers and weed and a lad set. That would be the best day ever, wouldn't it? And relics. Alright, here we go with a wrap up. Large cent is unidentifiable. It is a large cent. You can tell by the wreath on the back says 1 cent. On the front this is too much gone. 1887 Indian, 1888, 1905, 1910 Wheatie, just like what we thought. This thing here I believe is a compass. There is some writing on here, but I can't quite make it out. A couple nails. Piece of junk. Our butt plate, which is awesome. So glad to have that. Don't see any markings on it to ID it. And our other piece of our gun, I kind of matched up to the trigger guard I found last year. And it looks like a pretty good match. Looks like that was the piece that was missing. So with that butt plate and that trigger guard and that other piece, all we need now is the part with the hammer and all that good stuff. We'll have pretty good remnants of a musket.